Hello, people. How are you? This is just an informal live stream. Where people can come and say hello. Let's see. There we go. I have the chat up if anyone wants to say hello. Also, um, super informal because I don't have a formal mic or camera or anything. So hopefully you can hear me. And if you can't, well, then I guess you can't really let me know because you can't hear me saying, I hope you will hear me. You can hear me. Hello, Haddies. Hope I said that right. This is sort of hangout, I guess. I'm not working or doing anything other than just sitting here talking to you guys. So if you want to jump in the chat, say hello. Would appreciate that. And you'll see at the top of the chat showcasing the latest t-shirt we designed with the Father Seraphim Rose quote, "It's later than you think. Hasten and do the work of God." Can you all hear me okay? I know it's not the best audio, but again, it's just sort of laid back live stream. Let's see if we have anything coming in from the other stations. How do Orthodox deal with Orthodox saints, which seem to speak of the fact that Rome has universal authority above all church? It says Angelos Ioannidis. Yeah, so are you talking about like Saint Gregory the Great or some of the bishops of the church? There's a really good book called The Primacy of Peter. You can hear me fine. Have a nice day. Greetings from Poland. Thanks for joining. Gabe M. Bucher. Love and peace. What is going on? There's also a book by Meyendorff. What is that book called? Yeah, it's something about East and West in the title. I'm sure you'd be able to find it. So this is just, I mean, specifically if there's anyone that is looking into Orthodoxy. I know when we were converting a number of years ago, 10 years ago, there wasn't a lot going on YouTube, which is why, of course, we started this channel. But also nowhere really you could just go and get straight up answers. Do a lot of Googling and that sort of stuff. So 100% Angelos. Yeah, so feel free to just hop in, say hello. It's actually a really nice day here right now. It's about 70 degrees, nice and cool out in the shade. Oh, I'm a Protestant. I've always been taught that deacons are lay office, not ordained. However, I question this. Has the deacon always been ordained? Yeah, actually, great question. So, you know, that passages in Timothy, I think it's Timothy, that speak about deacons. Well, let me give you the so basically in the beginning there were presbyters and deacons. The presbyters were basically the bishops, but as the church grew, we needed people, you know, created more churches. We needed more people to care for the churches. So priests were ordained to serve in place of the bishop because it was the bishop that always served in the city. And then the bishop was over the entire area, and priests took over the individual churches. And deacons, yes, have always been ordained. There, you know, there's a book by no, maybe that's not right about the book. But anyway, I love the YouTube short, says Manosh. Thank you. How is sainthood determined or canonized? It's not as rigorous of a process in Orthodoxy. Also, Gabe, sorry, hopefully I answered your question. Short answer is yes. In Orthodox theology, this not as the process doesn't look the same as it does for Roman Catholic, the Roman Catholic Church. So for us, mainly people wind up venerating holy elders, and in some cases, those elders will be seen or visit people in visions or whatever, and eventually the church comes about canonizing them. Again, these aren't great answers, but we're doing what we can. Get what you pay for, which is, you know. You plan to attend your first Divine Liturgy on Sunday. That's wonderful. Roxanne, how did you become Orthodox? What determined you to become Orthodox? For me, as growing up in a Protestant church, and then drifting away from the Protestant church, it was really when I found out we were pregnant with our first child. I knew I needed to get serious and know what we were going to teach him. So I started looking at church history, and the short answer is it was very clear I either had to become Roman Catholic or Eastern Orthodox in order to be in line with what the early church was. And so that was sort of the process. What do you think about seminary in Kodiak, Alaska? How good is the education there? Thanks, Pavel, for your question. I don't. I've not been to Alaska, but I do have some good friends that are priests in Alaska, and I highly recommend them. I've been shut in for almost 10 years and hardly been able to go to church. My health just doesn't allow it. My question is, as an Orthodox, should I feel bad about not attending? You know, each of us has different things we have to deal with. I would say feeling bad about not attending, no. But if the priest is able to come offer you communion, they can do that. They can bring communion to you. I'd highly recommend that. What should happen to restore communion between the Catholic and Orthodox Church? That's a big question, Haddis. I don't know the answer to that. I think there's a way to find a common language between Orthodox and Roman Catholic. Or would it be considered heretical? I don't know, Haddis. I really don't. Yusuf, what books do you recommend on the history of the liturgy? If you can you provide a brief summary? Yusuf, there's a really brief book called Let Us Attend, An Orthodox Walk Through the Divine Liturgy, or something like that. It's by Father Lawrence Farley. Check that out. So basically, the liturgy, of course, was celebrated in houses and on top of graves of the martyrs until it was legalized in Rome. You know, Christianity was legalized, or at least tolerated, with the Edict of Milan around 313, I believe, AD 313 by Constantine. And then, you know, the procession at the very beginning of liturgy that they do with the gospel, where they come out of the north door and circle around and go back in through the two main, you know, the main doors, is indicative of carrying the gospel, processing to church. And there's this history that is now preserved in the church, in the movements of the liturgy, which is really cool. So check out Let Us Attend by Father Lawrence Farley. What are your opinions of the Marian apparitions? I don't know, Teresa. I don't know. What do you think of the monastic life? Well, I'm a married man. I know and am some good friends with some monks, and you know, it's a calling. Dan Martinez. Dan, if you can go to confession, but I think there's a tendency for us, and talk to your priest. There's a tendency for us to either trivialize our sin and not go to confession, which misses the mark, or to overblow our sin so much that we abstain from communion, even if we confess. And I think both of those miss the mark. So just we have to use discernment. Do you as Orthodox believe in the sinlessness of Mary? Mary was created just like one of us. We don't believe in the Immaculate Conception of Mary. She suffered the effects of sin, but sinlessness of Mary is attested to by St. John Maximovich in his book on Mary. Can saints hear our prayer? Any scriptural evidence? There aren't confession boxes in Orthodoxy. You just confess to Christ in the presence of a priest, usually in front of an icon. Although, sometimes there are rooms on the side of the church, on the side of the nave. So, do the saints hear our prayers? So, Rachel weeping for her children because they are no more. Weeping for her children because they are no more. That's in, of course, it's a reference to Jeremiah 31:15, but it's in Matthew 2:18. Actually referring to the event of the slaughter of the innocents when Christ was born. And also Revelation's a huge one for that, man. Revelation's a huge one. You talk about incense, which is the prayers of the saints calling out to God, how long, O Lord? The martyrs calling out to them. So Revelation's a big one for that. So many people seeking truth and discerning between Orthodoxy and Roman Catholicism. Lots of questions about reunion. I'm about to launch context focusing on this. And light. Just interrupt the service? No, don't interrupt the service. Talk to a dose of theosis. Thanks for that. Talk to your priest. Try to schedule something. What do you think about the old calendar? Which one do you use? Would you like to get to Mount Athos? I've not been to Mount Athos. I have a seminary buddy that we graduated together. He's now on Mount Athos. I would like to go and just, to go. Old and new calendar is usually church by church. I mean, I'm going to do what my church does. My church uses the new calendar. There we go. Yeah, Orthodox do use the Septuagint. If you don't know what that is, it's a Greek translation of the Old Testament, Hebrew Old Testament. It was done about 200 BC and 70, so Septuagint, 70 scribes translated from Hebrew to Greek. The story is, for one of the emperors, the story is that all of the translations matched up identically when they were done, even though they did it in separate rooms. And of course, Simeon, the one that says, the Song of Simeon, my eyes have seen thy salvation, when he holds Jesus in the temple court, or when Mary brings him, he was one of the translators. And so the story is that he translated and lived that long of a period of time and then died shortly after. Thank you. He's been gone for 4 weeks, so I don't know what to do. What is an Orthodox perspective on tattoos? I did go to St. Tikhon's. An Orthodox... Okay, so this is controversial. Tattoos is a controversial subject because it's been taboo in the culture for so long. Ethiopian Christians would tattoo their children with the sign of the cross, and there is a history of tattoos throughout the church's history. That being the case, the passage in Leviticus says, do not make, it basically says, it's rendered in the English language, do not make tattoos on your skin. This was in reference to a ritual that was happening in pagan society because of the dead, shaving the head, clipping the beard. Same passage says, don't clip the sides of your beard. So for me, it's far less black and white than most Orthodox would like to say about tattoos. That's just my opinion, though. Take it for what it's worth. Why is contraception considered sinful in most cases in Orthodoxy? Aaron Brewer, great question. So I will give you full disclosure. There are a number of different views number of different views about this in the Orthodox Church, contraception. And, you'll get people saying all forms of contraception are wrong, don't use anything. You'll get people saying talk to your spiritual father. You'll get the whole gamut. My personal opinion, after reading the literature, and I'm talking patristic sources, St. John Chrysostom et al., as well as modern sources like Father Josiah Trenum. Father Josiah is on the more extreme end. Birth control generally, as far as the pill goes for women, is not necessarily healthy for the women's body, is one thing. And two, is not necessary. We're not 100% sure it's not abortifacient. That means we're not sure. It's hard to tell. So in that case, it's difficult. Barrier methods are sometimes accepted. Natural family planning sometimes accepted. My issue with the hard line, don't ever use contraception. Intercourses within the context of marriage is only for procreation, is that, you can track it there. If you take that to the logical end, it causes a lot of problems. So we have to be careful not to go to extremes. I'm looking to conversion to Orthodox Church, says Dan. I wondered which one, as I know there are many different jurisdictions. Serbian Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, Orthodox Church in America, Greek Orthodox, Romanian Orthodox. All of us are in communion with one another. So you don't want to go to... there are a number of different... Yeah, I mean, you should be fine. You should be fine. Just find the church and that sort of thing. It's not... let's see here. Hold on. Miaphysitism versus diaphysitism. Oh, here we go, Jay Ruby. How would you explain the unique nature of the Logos and apparently the Coptic belief in the true humanity and true divinity, but only prior to the hypostatic union? So, let's see here. ... So, Jay Ruby, I'm going to just leave that question there for now, just because... and good afternoon. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I don't know what to tell you, because the Coptic, or even the Ethiopian church, has been admitted by many that our theology is very similar, Ethiopian at least. Started going to an Orthodox church this month, and I'm very new to Orthodoxy. Terminology is different from what I was going to say. I live in a city with tons of Orthodox churches. Drew, if you don't mind me asking, whereabouts do you live? Do you practice prayer of the heart? What's your favorite moment of the Holy Mass? Roxanne, thanks for your question. Yeah, I mean, I think silence and prayer of the heart is very important for all Christians, not just for monks. But again, just remember, everything I'm saying is my opinion here. Do you recommend the Small Book of Needs or the Great Book of Needs? Yeah, I mean, for a priest, they would be really, really handy. But yeah, some people also have them if they're not priests. Were the church councils infallible? Why do you believe so? It seemed good to the Holy Spirit and to us. That was the formula in Acts 15 at the council, and that's one that we've gone by as well. So where do we stand on the hypostatic union, on post-hypostatic union? I mean, I can kind of see why they would stop speaking of the dual, especially because the human person has body and soul. So if add divine, I guess they argue it could be trinature. No, Ruby, man, I don't want to go there. Just what the church confessed, man. Just look at the Council of Chalcedon. NYC, New York City, Drew. I know some priests in New York City. Yeah, Minaj, for sure. I just don't know how it would happen practically is the issue. New York City. I would go to the cathedral if I was in New York City, just because that's where Archbishop Michael is. And but I don't know. I mean, Archbishop Michael is great. He's the bishop, OCA bishop of New York, New Jersey. And of course, this is just it's a laid back stream. You want to come in, do what just hang out for a little while. Oh, and if you do want to support our work, I'm trying to figure out how to get back to consistent, professionally produced videos, which I do, but I'm trying to figure out how to do it, how I want to do it, which is why I've been making the shorts as opposed to the professionally sort of ones. I arrived here spontaneously. I don't know anything about your channel. Tell me, what are the main critics coming from Catholics, Lutherans, or other Eastern Orthodoxy? Alexander, thanks for joining. Main critiques. Roman Catholicism likes to critique the essence-energy distinction and the fact that we don't agree with the infallibility or universal jurisdiction of the Pope. Lutherans would critique maybe this idea of 7 sacraments. I have some friends who generally worship Mary. They justify it by saying they believe Mary and the Holy Spirit are one, so she's part of the Trinity. Is that sinful or bad? Yes. It's not correct. They're individual hypostatic hypostases. Mary is not one of the Holy Trinity. I've never seen Life of Brian. And of course, if you want to support our work, you can at patreon.com/TheoriaTV. You can also join this channel via YouTube. Or give super chats or whatever. That's up to you, though. Looks like I'm breaking up. Am I breaking up a little bit? Greetings from Serbia, says Lazar. J. Ruby. I'm intending on being chrismated in the Greek Orthodox Church. You know, it depends on the church. Just do what the church tells you, man. If you're chrismated, it fills in everything that was lacking in your previous baptism. And, you know, this thing of rebaptism is a big... Eddie's still here. What's up, man? Is a big question a lot of people have. It's a big question. All right. Yeah, so if you're just joining us, it's a laid-back live stream where we're just sort of chilling in the chat. I see you, Jay. I don't know, Minaj. I don't know, man. Church politics, not my strong suit. What's the relation between schism and heresy? Is it better to be schismatic than heretic? What's an Orthodox perspective on salvation of such people? You know, that's a good question. I don't know what the distinction is necessarily. And I know we have stuff going on in the church right now, which is, unfortunate. But these sort of fine distinctions as far as salvation goes, God only knows, you know? So if you're just joining us, we're doing a laid-back live stream, sort of, Oh, I'm doing too much yawning, that sort of stuff. I'm gonna put a emoji in the chat. Boom. Oh, this is a fun one. All right. Well, guys. Yep, that's a good one. GG. Interesting question. I've never heard of that, so I don't know anything about that. What topics are you considering for quote-unquote professional videos? I don't know. My main thing before I can decide on what to film next and create, I want to do more series, but that requires money to fly out and get people to say stuff. So I'm trying to think of people that I would do series with. But beyond that, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out my. I have to get my office set up again. We're remodeling that. One of the large reasons why I haven't done anything is because my camera equipment's all packed up and I don't have a spot to do it. Will Father Andrew be returning? I actually talked to Father Andrew about doing some more videos, and he was game, so I just have to plan a time to do it, I guess, GG, I'm planning on starting an Orthodox podcast, believe it or not. I just have to figure out how I want to go about it. And that sort of stuff. A long-form podcast with like video interviews and podcasts. Heretic versus schismatic. Can other Christian become Orthodox? Anyone can become Orthodox. Any human being. And of course, if you're just joining us, we're doing a laid-back live stream. If you want to support our work, you can go to patreon.com/TheoriaTV. Everything helps. What is the Orthodox Church? Yep, with Father Andrew. Oh, he's leaving for seminary. Nice. He's probably going to Holy Cross, huh? Orthodoxy first. Yeah, I just found out about that guy, I don't know, a couple months ago. I stopped making videos when I was in seminary, too. It's just too busy. But then I started up a couple years after I graduated. Started back up the channel after I graduated a couple years. My question is on Orthodox seminaries. Do Orthodox seminarists attend seminaries like Roman Catholic seminaries? Are there like houses of formation where seminarians live and study? Sort of, but it's very different than Roman Catholic seminary. For one, you can be married and go to seminary, and for two, it's generally, yeah. Don't know, GG. Space. Oh yeah, I see you. I don't know who Luke is, Eddie. Paul, what's going on? Oh, congratulations, many years. I'm coming from Russian Baptist background. A lot of answers I get why they are baptized are because something their priest said. Oh yeah, that's hard. What did you graduate from seminary as? A layman. I went to seminary as a layman, graduated as a layman. For example, on not letting people get proper burial without payment. Opium of the masses from iconography. Technology, man. Entertainment. Entertainment is the opium of the masses. Entertainment. 100%. Three years is typical. Oh, Luke is the Orthodox first, dude. Got it. Seminary is about 3 years. It's 3 years usually. Results in a Master of Divinity degree. Slimy slime ball. Difficult to say. If you're talking about is it outside the Orthodox Church, the answer is yes, but we also know from Scripture that the Spirit blows where it pleaseth. And I don't think, there will be people that are not Orthodox that will be saved. I mean, that may be controversial. I don't know why, but there you go. Apophatic theology. There's apophatic theology and cataphatic theology, Hadis. And we understand this by, chiefly speaking, we can't say what God's essence is, but we can talk about his energies. So cataphatic statements are talking about God's energies, apophatic about his nature. How can it be changed towards Christ? That's a great question. I think we need to know the medium and understand what it's capable of and what it's not. It's hard, DM. It's hard. I mean, I think acceptance of their feelings and empathy is really the way to go. Can you increase volume, please? I can try. Hold on. Yeah, I don't have my professional mic or anything. It's extreme laid back live stream. Oh. Oh. Stay on for a few more minutes or so. And then we'll just go from there. I've yawned too much. Intercession of the dead for the living is a big stumbling block for you. I see you, Anon. I see you. I understand. I get it. I would say just read a biography of a saint. Maybe read Saint Paisius's biography. And as you grow closer to these people, as people, the relationship will open up and you'll understand it on an existential level. Life is a big stumbling block for me. How does confession work in Orthodoxy? Well, typically you schedule a time with your priest or go after Vespers. You'll stand in front of the icon of Christ. The priest will stand to the side of you. So you're facing the icon of Christ. The priest is standing here. He'll say a prayer or say, tell the Lord the things that are on your mind or your heart, and you'll confess to Christ, and then the priest will put his stole, which is the thing around his neck, over your head, hold your head, and hold it over your head and say the prayer of absolution. I don't know, Jay. It's a hard question, CJ. You know. I mean, I guess we're just waiting it out at this point, huh? Yeah, reincarnation or metempsychosis, as it's also called, is repeatedly condemned by the Church Fathers. Yeah, I see that, CJ. Hello, Daniel. Yes, keep on keeping on. Well, maybe about all for today. And maybe we'll do this again sometime. If you all feel like supporting the channel, you can go to patreon.com/theoriatv. Trying to waiting for my office remodel to go through, then hopefully I'll be able to start making professional videos again, because my all my stuff's packed away right now, simply because of the remodel. That's going to take a little while, which is why I've been doing the shorts with my phone. And there we go. Luis, yeah, the Orthodox Church, some of the jurisdictions did. Was she ever head of the church? Not like a bishop would be head of the church. Where would you recommend one start on the journey to understanding Orthodoxy of an evangelical Protestant for nearing 40 years? ancientfaith.com, listen to some podcasts, check out some books like The Orthodox Church by Timothy Ware, also known as Callistos Ware. Check out some books by my friend Frederica, Matthews Green, Father Andrew Damick, those types of people. What can be done about bishops siding with politics and social justice? The bishops are doing what they can, so that they're doing what they can. So we just have to just like Daniel said, keep on keeping on. Hattie's deaconesses were a thing in the early church. It was largely a ministry of necessity, though, when a lot of adults were being converted, a lot of adults were being baptized. In those days, it would be taken into the baptismal font naked. So women, deaconesses, would help baptize the women. I mean, that was basically, wonderful slimy slime ball. I feel weird calling you that, but it looks like you have an icon of St. Paul or something, so I'll call you Paul. Paul Slimeball. I'm glad it was helpful. Thank God. I keep yawning. This is bad, guys. Oh. Oh. I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Again, if you want to support the channel, go to patreon.com/theoriatv. And we'll just keep on keeping on, like Daniel says. And of course, we have Facebook as well. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday in this middle of July. Just dropped something. Oh, it was just a pebble. See you guys.